What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel and welcome back to another bowl game preview and prediction. And this one is going to be the Barstool Arizona Bowl coming from Tucson, Arizona. The last Group of 5 versus Group of 5 matchup that we will be previewing here. In fact, the last two Group of 5 teams, I do believe, that will play in bowl season besides Liberty in the New Year's Six bowl game. It's the team that fell just short in the Mid-American Conference Championship game, the Toledo Rockets. They're going to go up against the Wyoming Cowboys. This should be a fun one from Tucson, and we're going to dive on into everything Rockets and Cowboys here in a minute. But before we do, you guys know I have to say thank you for all the love and support the channel has seen as of late. And if you want to continue to show your support for the channel, do anything you can to interact with the channel, because any way you interact with the channel helps to support it. So whether that's doing what you're doing now and watching the video, whether that's subscribing, ringing the bell, the biggest way to help support the channel, or liking, commenting, sharing, you guys are rock stars, and you guys have killed it with all the love and support this channel has seen, and I appreciate each and every one of you for interacting with the channel, making me a part of your lives. Before we dive on in here to this game, do got to say sometimes it can be a little tricky to determine who's opted out, who's not playing, who's entered the transfer portal, who is playing even though they've entered the portal, opted out, things like that. So Rockets fans, Wyoming fans, Cowboy fans, leave it in the comment section below if I happen to skip a name or someone's playing that I'm not aware of, things like that. So let's go ahead and dive on in here to this game. And we are going to start out with the designated road team. The Toledo Rockets had a heck of a season. They were really, really good all year long. Just ended up falling short in the Mid-American Conference Championship game. Who knows? Maybe they could have ended up being the team that would have gotten a Group of 5 spot or that would have gotten the Group of 5 spot to go play in a New Year's Six bowl game. But this offense was very balanced all season long, and it was led by Daquan Finn. 2,657 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 9 picks. However, I do believe that he is not going to be playing here. He is no longer with the program. I believe he has entered the transfer portal. Going to be looking for a higher level team there to go and play for. But all I know is that Daquan Finn will not be quarterbacking this team here in the bowl game. Instead, it is going to be Tucker Gleason. Now, on the season, 14 of 21 for 199 yards and 4 touchdowns. Again, that's 66% completion percentage, no picks, has only been sacked one time. The Toledo offensive line is fantastic. He's been really efficient with the football in the very limited playing time he has. I think he's going to do the same here against the Toledo Rock, or I should say, I think he's going to do the same here against the Wyoming Cowboy defense, but we'll talk about why that might be a little tough here in a minute, because Toledo's got a lot of great weapons for Tucker Gleason to work with. You have a 1,400-yard rusher in the backfield. He's averaging 7.2 yards per carry, has 15 rushing touchdowns. That's Penny Boone. And then Daquan Finn was the team's second leading rusher. You have Jacques Stewart behind him with 475 yards and 5 touchdowns. He can be a factor in games as well. And then a ton of great weapons on the outside at the wide receiver position, led by Jerjuan Newton with 622 yards and 9 touchdowns. Junior Vandeross is very closely behind, 611 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then a ton of other weapons there as well. The one thing with this offense, again, I've already talked about the offensive line is good. It's a balanced attack. They're really good on third downs. They can be turnover prone, and that's something that Tucker Gleason in the offense just going to look to try to avoid. 9 interceptions been thrown by Finn, 11 fumbles on the year. They're going to look here to clean that up. Defensively for Toledo, no notable opt-outs, no notable players that are not going to be playing, but it's the former Ohio State transfer in Dallas Gant that has really made an impact on this defense. He's leading the way with 108 tackles. In fact, this is a really good defensive back 7, back 6, back 8, whatever you want to call it. This is a good linebacker and secondary group. The defensive front can struggle at times in defending the run, but they have a phenomenal pass rush, 36 sacks on the year. They forced 18 turnovers. They're good enough on third downs, and they step up in the big moments for it to matter a ton. And again, they're only allowing 330 yards all season long. They have a ton of phenomenal players. Quinion Mitchell is one of the leaders in passes defended in the country. He has 18 of them. The secondary as a whole, 59 pass defended, 11 picks, including 1 pick 6 there as well. A ton of phenomenal talent in the linebacking group. Your top 2 leading tacklers are members of the secondary. In fact, when I take a look, all of your top 8 tacklers are either linebackers or the defensive backs, and then you've got a couple guys there on the defensive front that are really good at bringing pressure, such as Judge Culpepper and Darius Alexander there as well. Let's dive on into this Wyoming offense, which is not necessarily game-breaking. It's not even super efficient at times, but it does the little things right. Third downs are not fantastic. The offensive line is not fantastic. However, they can control the clock. They hold on to the ball. They don't turn it over. And Andrew Peasley, who has led this offense, sure, isn't going to go out and throw for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns every single week, but he is a very, very effective game-managing quarterback. 1,823 yards, 20 touchdowns, only 5 picks for Peasley so far this year. I do believe he's going to get the start here in this bowl game. He does have quite a fair share of weapons here to work with. Peasley himself has 403 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground, but the leading rusher for this Cowboys team is Harrison Whaley. 856 yards and 5 touchdowns for Whaley on the year. You got a couple other backs that can make some difference there as well. Again, the wide receiver room statistically is not fantastic, but you do have a lot of good players out there, starting with Wyatt Weiland, 425 yards, 5 touchdowns. And then the second on the team there is Ayir Asante with 346 yards and 6 touchdowns there as well. Again, this is an offense that does the little things right. It's able to get down the field. It's able to score just enough points here. Again, not a ton of yards. The offensive line is not going to wow you, but it is a team that can control the clock, and they really take advantage of what this Cowboys defense helps give them. Now, this Cowboys defense at times can be a little shaky, but for the most part, this is an absolutely loaded defensive unit. They force turnovers, they can generate pressure, and even if they're not getting the quarterback on the ground, again, only 24 sacks this year. They're only at 2/3 of what Toledo has forced so far this season. Wyoming is a team that they can't just bring pressure to the quarterback. They can bring pressure in the backfield, period, which is going to make life really difficult for Penny Boone, Tucker Gleason, and this Toledo offense. But defensively, again, they can be susceptible to giving up those big plays, but again, their defensive front can be really, really good. This is a very experienced, very loaded Wyoming defense, and it does what it needs to do to help this team win games. Most importantly is forcing turnovers in those crucial situations. The one thing that I haven't quite been able to figure out here with this Wyoming defense really all season long was how really just bad they are on third downs. Now, again, the defense does enough. They're able to force turnovers here to help them win games, right? But that third down defense, especially against the third down offense as good as Toledo, is going to be making a difference here in this game. But that leads me into my what to watch for. Again, it's kind of like your keys to the game, just some things I think you should keep an eye on while you're paying attention to this one. And we'll start with the Toledo Rockets. Again, no Daquan Finn for the Rockets. Tucker Gleason is going to be taking over. And as I've spoken before, he has a ton of weapons to be able to work with. When you have a 1,400-yard rusher, hey, you better be giving that guy the rock, right? This is a Toledo offense that has run almost 150, I believe actually, yeah, okay, now that I'm fact-checking it, over 150 more rush plays than they have with pass plays, especially when you have a guy like Penny Boone back there that isn't just a 1,400-yard rusher based on load and based on the amount of carries he has. He's averaging 7.2 yards per carry. That's really going to bode well for Tucker Gleason and this offense. And again, he has a lot of game-breaking wide receivers out there as well, 5 of which, including Penny Boone, average at least 12.4 yards per reception. You do have a lot of downfield threats, a lot of guys that can go make plays. They're on the outside. It's just up to Tucker Gleason to manage an efficient game and not turn the football over, get it to your playmakers there in the backfield and on the outside as well. This is a Wyoming defense that I didn't really talk about it much there. I didn't say anything like this kind, but again, you could kind of maybe sniff it out, right? But this is a Wyoming defense that bends but doesn't break a whole lot. This is a Toledo team that needs to make the Wyoming defense break, especially on third downs. How do you do that? Well, again, quite simply on third down, you just convert your opportunities. You keep the offense on the field. You tire out this Wyoming team, and you don't give the offense extra possessions. You don't give this defense anything to sort of turn the momentum on you, right? You hold on to the ball, you play efficient offense, you get down the field, you score points, you hold on to the ball. Again, I kind of just alluded to my third bullet point right there. Control the clock, convert on the money downs. And if you are this Toledo defense as well, hey, force takeaways, because look, Tucker Gleason is going to make some mistakes here in this game. I think that is inevitability, but the more times you can get it in the hands of this Toledo offense, get it out to these playmakers, better chance you're going to have. And what better way to do that than have the defense force a couple of takeaways for you, huh? Let's move on over to the keys for the Wyoming Cowboys. Peasley must manage in efficient game. Now, he has done that all season long, so that is nothing new there to Andrew Peasley, but this is definitely a pretty darn good Toledo defense, especially up front and in the secondary as well. However, they are maybe, in my opinion, a little bit stronger in the secondary than they are in the defensive front, right? So this is a Toledo defense that's going to be used to seeing an offense that is schemed like Wyoming's is. Wyoming's got to be ready, may have to pull out some tricks here to get past this Toledo defense. The pass rush, forgot the E there, pardon that, my apologies, but the pass rush is going to need to be more aggressive here for the Wyoming Cowboys. You got to be able to get Tucker Gleason down. You got to be able to disrupt Penny Boone in the backfield, and you have to be able to limit the big plays. Again, Tucker Gleason is not going to be a guy that is going to game break by himself. He's going to need his weapons to step up. If you can control and limit his weapons, make Tucker Gleason make some plays, that'll bode well for the Wyoming defense, but you have to flip those third down numbers. The way that Wyoming struggles on third down offensively and gives up a ton of third downs defensively, I think is going to cost them in this game, and it's exactly why I am picking Toledo here. Look, this is going to be a very close, very competitive game, and I'm genuinely very excited to watch this one. It's okay if you don't have Barstool, you don't want to watch it on Barstool. It's also available to watch on the CW network there as well. But I do think Toledo's going to win this game. I think Tucker Gleason has too many weapons to make plays. I think this Wyoming defense, especially on third down, it's really going to cost them. And I got the Rockets pulling this one out by a single point. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And as always, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Just 2 more bowl game preview predictions left to go. Goodbye.